6 years into serving her sentence, Sindisiwe Manqele has been granted parole. She was found guilty of murdering her boyfriend, Nkululeko Flabba Habedi. Now, Manqele claimed she acted in self-defense. Joining me now is the Correctional Services spokesperson, Singabakho Nxumalo, who is with me in studio. Mr. Nxumalo, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with Ms. Manqele. She was convicted to serve 12 years in jail. She has spent 6 years of that, or she has at least served 6 years of that, and she's being let out. Perhaps the first question is, have you been in consultation with the family of the victim? That would be Mr. Habedi here.
A very good morning, and thank you for having us. You were clear the last time we spoke. You wanted me in studio. I'm here today. It's a very important question because many people will want answers to say, but how is it possible that a person is given 12 years, 10 years, halfway through the sentence, they see that person walking down the street? It is therefore a duty for us to educate the public to say Section 73 of the Correctional Services Act is very clear in saying all people sentenced to a determined period must serve at least the minimum required time before they are eligible to be considered for parole placement. It doesn't mean that automatically they'll be placed out, but they have to be considered whether they are ready to continue serving a sentence back in the communities. Then there is a lot of processes involved in that because it begins from when a person is being admitted in a correctional facility. When you do that assessment to say, who is this person brought to us? What is the warrant of detention saying? The yes, but we need to go deeper than that. So our specialist gets involved. Hence, that process on its own, we give ourselves a period of 21 days to do that assessment, then put together what we call a correctional sentence plan, which will then map out the process in terms of correcting the wrong, the offending behavior. Then from there, phase 2 will be then rehabilitation, our process to say how do we prepare this person for life post-incarceration. But there are other processes such as your restorative justice, your victim-offender dialogue, which must also take place. And also the reports from specialists to say, having been with this person for a period of 6 years, is this person now ready to be placed out in the community? So everything then is put together in what we call a profile. Then a structure called Case Management Committee will then take this profile before the parole board to say, we're bringing before you Singabakho Nxumalo, who was given this sentence. This is the correctional sentence plan, and these are all supporting documents. Then the parole board will go through that and check if all the requirements were met. If they then feel that no, this person has indeed met the requirements and is a suitable candidate to be placed out with conditions for monitoring purposes, then that person will be placed out. But if a person does not meet the requirements or there are certain gaps or question marks, then that person will not be placed on parole. But that is a jurisdiction of the parole board, which is an independent structure.
So still on the subject of Ms. Manqele?
Yes.
The Correctional Services is confident that she is now a rehabilitated person who can be allowed to go back into society. The understanding is that she may even have obtained an educational qualification whilst incarcerated. Am I correct?
Yes. She was given 12 years. She started serving that sentence in 2015. The parole board went through everything. She did or participated in the victim offender dialogue in 2018. That's where the victims of crime and the perpetrator will come together. We, as Correctional Services, we create a conducive environment where people can start to engage, find ways, perhaps even for forgiveness, so that once a person is out there, we can have what we call, a safe society where people live together in harmony. It's not a once-off process, something that has to continue. But as Correctional Services, we had to go through all those processes. Yes, she did participate in a number of programs and also formal education. You are correct, she did acquire a qualification, and I think she's due to complete her LLB degree with UNISA, and she will do that as now she's placed on parole. But as a department, we did everything possible that we presented before the parole board. It then took a decision to place her out.
Just out of interest,
yes,
had the family of the deceased Mr. Habedi. He said no. Would Correctional Services have respected that and still keep her behind bars, even though you were satisfied that she is rehabilitated?
Yes, that is also critical, because in most cases people will say, but as the victims we said, no, this person must either die in prison or serve the entire sentence. And the system doesn't work like that. It has to take everything into consideration. Yeah. So that this number of variables...
So that includes defying the wishes of the family which suffered harm.
The victims will express their views or their feelings. But then you have to take everything into consideration to say, if there is still a risk, do you have measures in place to deal with that particular risk or to manage it?
Mr. Nxumalo, I've just had a conversation with the former Justice of the Constitutional Court, Justice Sindisiwe, and she's of the view that the family of Bontle Mashiane, this is the little girl who was killed in Mpumalanga,
yes.
And it's alleged that an offender who had been paroled twice by your correctional centers may have been behind her murder. Does the Correctional Services first and foremost accept that it is complicit in the murder of the child?
That incident, we're aware of it, and something that really disturbed us, where you have a parolee being cited as one of the people who are being pursued by the police, having opened behind, that particular incident. It's something which took us back, and as the department, we had to go back into our records to check if, one, we can confirm that this person is a parolee, and we confirm that. And we also look to say, okay, when was this person placed out, and what is it that was done in terms of monitoring this person? And it came up that this person had absconded from our system of community corrections.
How did they abscond,
yes.
Mr. Nxumalo? And this is where the fight comes in.
Yes.
How does that person abscond when they are supposed to be wearing some kind of brace, is it not?
Let me explain how it works. When a person is placed out, a person will be classified whether you are still considered to be high risk or medium risk. That will then determine how often that person gets to be visited at home or come into our offices and those unannounced visits. But also the person residing with that parolee as well, playing a part in that. We don't blame those families or those people staying with parolees, but we say we cannot place a person out if there is no one willing to accept this person. Why do we do that? We say, the conditions are clear. This person has to be home between this particular hour and this hour. And should this person deviate from that, please inform us. Or we get you home and this person is not there, we therefore need to act. So what happened with this particular case? When our monitoring officials went to the house where he was residing, they couldn't locate him. They then asked, but where is this person? No, they haven't seen him. Then they reported that to say, we have this person, and the term that we use is this person has absconded, because if a parolee has to move from a particular region to another, they have to inform the monitoring official. That's when then we also then worked with the SAPS to say, there is this person that has absconded, and the SAPS indicated that this person is also a suspect on a kidnapping case at the time. Hence then we started having now to look for this person, to say we need to find this person as a matter of efficiency back into the system so that we can establish what is it that is up to.
Well, unfortunately time is against us, Mr. Nxumalo, because there could be quite a lot of back and forth as to when did the officials of Correctional Services start noticing that this person had indeed absconded. Was it before or after the murder that he had now committed? Final question, very briefly, I'm out of time.
Yes.
Oscar Pistorius.
Yes.
What is happening around that case? The understanding is that he's now been moved to some correctional center in the Eastern Cape. That's to, again, foster this victim-offender dialogue.
Yes. He has been in Gqeberha since, I think, December last year, and specifically for the purposes of victim-offender dialogue. But what we explain is that there is what we call a preparation phase, because you do not want to take the two groups to a formal sitting when you have not engaged with them and test whether they are ready, for such engagement. We are still busy with that. We are meeting with the family of River Steenkamp, and those preparations are taking place. There has been quite a number of engagements. The moment all parties are ready, that engagement will take place. But we cannot take a risk and put the two together when perhaps one or both of them are not yet ready. It's a process that is very sensitive. It has to be managed quite carefully.